Hello, my name is Odin, and today I'm going to be taking you through the new TLC 2 patch update for Ark, which will be due next week for PC and April for console. So first we're going to look at the RG. So as you can see from here, on the left is the new RG, and on the right is the old RG. The new one looks 100 times better. The RG has needed an update for a while now. It looks absolutely atrocious when you look at it compared to the new one. But it's definitely a lot more vulture-like, as Argentavis was a pseudo-vulture, so to speak, and it definitely looks a lot better. As you can see down here, they're in flight, and the wings kind of remind me a bit of the Pelagornis here, how they are quite stiff, but then you have the flutter bit of the feathers like you have on the Griffin, which I think looks quite cool. Also the colour regions look a lot nicer. It'd be interesting to see how they say if you have coloured dinos, how they would change to the new one. Okay, so the Argentavis has since been a favourite flyer to many with its high health, weight and stamina. It is essential air mount that now will be getting a bit more love. The Dino TLC will grant the new Argent a new saddle that will receive reduced weight capabilities on obsidian and other various materials, and the ability to craft smithy items within the saddle. The Argent will now be able to carry 2 additional passengers, one with its claws like it can do already, and one in its beak. The Argent will be carrying heavier than current creatures in its talons, while the beak will be able to just support the weight of smaller creatures that takes, like dilos, dodos, that sort of thing. Lastly, upon consuming the corpse, the Argent will receive a rapid health regeneration, making this vulture a formidable aerial tank. A bit more words there. Okay, so that looks good. I think it's going to definitely improve the game, because the RG is quite lacking, if you ask me. It is my favourite bird. It's most robust and useful out of a lot of them, but improvements are always welcome. So next we have the Spino. As you can see from here, this is the new one on the left, the old one on the right. Now it looks a lot better. I kind of prefer the scaling on the old one though, if I'm honest. It looks more realistic, whereas on the left, especially here on the spine, it looks quite, I don't know, quite plasticky. But other than that, it does look a lot better. The face looks 10 times better, and I do like now it has better skin folds and stuff like that. As you can see here, it's standing on its bipedal pose, so 2 legs, which is quite interesting because there's always been that long standing debate whether Spinos stood on all 4s or stood on 2 legs. It's forever ongoing, but hey, so you know, at least Ark's trying to cater for everybody. Here are they standing side by side. It definitely looks a lot better in this picture than it did on this picture, I have to say. I'm still not keen on this plasticky looking sail though. But overall it does look a lot better. Looks a bit more agile as well. Okay, so the quadruped stance for the Spinosaur has been hotly debated since it first joined, and ever since. Those for the stance enjoyed its dog-like run, while those felt like it was not its true real-world version of the Spino. With the TLC pass, the Spinosaur will now be able to operate in both bipedal and quadrupedal stance, so that's going to help, you know, stop people squabbling a bit there. When on 2 legs, the Spino will move slower but be able to bite and use its claws to do increased damage, while on all 4s it'll be able to move faster. That sounds a bit like the Iguanodon, to be honest. Due to its affinity to water, the Spino will receive a buff which applies to a bonus to movement speed, turning radius, attack damage and health regen when fighting in water, and will last for some time after exiting the water. So that's quite good. I like that, because the Spinosaurus is meant to be a aquatic water dinosaur, and I just don't think, I think it's underused, to be honest. It will also prefer prime fish for taming over prime meat, and have an increased chance at gathering prime fish meat. So that seems a lot better, actually. I'm not a fan of the Spino, if I'm honest. It's always been a bit of a clunky dino, especially when it runs. I'm not keen on that. But hopefully, with this fact that it can now change its stance between bipedal and quadruped, that sounds quite interesting. Okay, so next we have the Raptor, which to me doesn't really look that much difference. You can see a difference. Obviously it's got an ear now, so it can probably hear people. I kind of preferred its old smile though, its grin. kind of like that, but it still looks good. It looks a lot cleaner. The feathers look 100 times better. These just look like weird quills, don't they? They're all very nice, but this looks a lot better. I like its stripes as well. They're a bit more subtle than what they are on this one. And I've noticed with these new dinos as well, they've got very clear eyes, which I quite like. So here's them standing next to each other. It kind of looks like the new one's a bit chunkier than the other one, unless that's just how it looks. But I definitely prefer the newer one. It definitely looks a lot better with these feathers on its legs and everything. But yeah, it does look very stocky on the legs compared to the old one, but I think that might be just the colour and the shading, to be honest with you. But yeah, it looks a lot nicer. And here it is again from behind. You can definitely see the stripes are a bit more pronounced than on this one. It's more mottled in with the colour, whereas this one's quite more pronounced. Okay, so the Raptor is one of the most iconic creatures in Ark. Our goal with the Raptor is to keep it as an essential early game tame and retain its usefulness to low level or new survivors for traversing and battling on the Ark. The Raptor will continue to be an excellent scouting dino with its quick speed and high mobility. However, it will also receive a small pack bonus. The pack leader will be able to do a special vocalization that will increase the pack's damage resistance, movement speed and attack speed for 15 seconds with a 45-second cooldown. This will allow the group of raptors to stalk and pursue quick targets and quickly take them down. Okay, that seems interesting. The Raptor will also have a pounce ability that allows it to jump and pin down players and smaller creatures. Once pounced upon, the Raptor can use a bite attack to quickly kill its prey. Survivors on foot better be on the lookout for raptors that may be stalking them through the trees. Okay, so that's going to make the game a lot more interesting if they are able to actually jump on you out of nowhere and take you down to the ground. You're pretty much screwed if you're a newbie. But yeah, sounds quite fun to be honest. But yeah, I definitely think it's going to make life a bit harder. But, you know, Ark's an easy game, it needs to be harder, I think. Yeah. Okay, so next we have the Trike. Now, the Trike looks amazing. This newer one, its face does. It's just absolutely amazing. I hate this old one now. I've seen the new one. I've never had a problem with the Trike. I've always liked the way it looked. But this newer one just makes the old one look like rubbish, to be honest. Especially these colour regions look so nice, and like I said, with the eyes, they're just so more pronounced. It's just sort of not nicer. It's got more shape to it. These horns seem a bit too plasticky, especially at the top here, whereas these seem more natural. So down the next picture, we can see full Trike. Its face looks a lot thinner than the old one. The old one looks like it's got a fat lip, but that one's like shrunk down. I quite like that. It looks like it's got on a diet. It looks more bulky, not bulky. Make your words up now. But yeah, definitely looks more muscular. You can see a lot of muscular in the tail as well. Yeah, it looks a lot better. Looks about the same size as well, to be honest. Oh, and from this angle, on this picture, it actually looks taller. To me, that looks like the horns come up higher. But it definitely looks a lot better than the old one. Okay, so Triceratops, one of our oldest friends and earliest creatures implemented into the game, will be receiving both a gameplay update and a visual update, including facial changes plus a reskin. Generally, in terms of gameplay, we felt that the Trike was in a relatively good place in regards to how much benefit provided versus how difficult it was to tame. I agree there, especially on unofficial. You know, you can put rates up so they're quite easy to tame and they're pretty useless, but I feel like on official they're not exactly the easiest thing to tame, and they're not really that useful apart from berry gathering, to be honest. As an early game herbivore, we didn't want to do a complete redesign. However, it was clear to us that there was very obvious changes that we needed to make. First of all, the Triceratops will receive the ability to perform a charge and ram attack. It has a short wind-up time to notify when the Trike is going to charge, which definitely needed one of these for a while. I don't know why it didn't come with a charge attack, to be honest. The attack will build up speed and damage during the wind-up, which will transfer to increase damage and ends in a ram attack, which will knock the targets back and can leave them stunned for a short period of time. Okay, so I don't think they'll be stunned for very long, as it is only early game, but that's definitely going to prove its useful a bit more, because it can be quite tanky. But usually with me, when I have a trike, have them very, very early on, and then don't really use them after that. But yeah, that seems like it's good. Additionally, its herding instincts will be improved, resulting in two changes. A rivalry buff, which will be applied to all nearby ally trikes when in range of large theropod or carnivores, which will increase their stats damage akin to mate boost. Okay, so that's quite interesting. So what I've got from that is, it sounds like they're going for the old T-Rex versus trike scenario, and they're giving the trike a bit of a buff to fight back. It will also increase the wild Triceratops aggro notify range by twice, so that other trikes are more likely to come to its aid. That's quite interesting, though to be fair, a big herd of trikes is going to be a bit of a pain in the backside to tame, because normally they walk around in herds of 3 and they can be quite difficult then. But yeah, I kind of like that. It definitely looks 1,000 times better than the old one. Yeah, can't wait for this one to come into the game. And lastly, we have the Parasaur. Everyone's favourite early tame Parasaur won't be receiving a visual update, but we're receiving some handy abilities upgrades to make it more useful for beginner survivors. Okay, so it's not getting a visual update, though I kind of wish it did. To me, I don't know, this looks like a baby one to me, it doesn't really look like an adult. But I feel like with the trike, how they've slimmed it down a bit and made it more muscular instead of so clunky, I think they kind of should have done that with the Parasaur a bit, but other than that, the Parasaur looks great, to be honest. So the Parasaur has found its voice in the form of local vocalization capable of notifying the player of surrounding danger. It is even able to scare away smaller creatures when doing so. The call can be separated into the same category as other creatures with a type of turret mode, as well as the call can be done on command by the player, just like a roar. Okay, so that's going to be really useful if you want to set them up outside as an alarm. So I assume they can do that with other players, or is it just creatures? Yeah, it looks quite good. Having issue with annoying pegamastics or ichthyornia, so I hate those, stealing from you constantly while you're trying to stroll down the beach. Got a raptor pack hot on your heels? Have a Parasaur tag along with you, and when these pesky critters get too close, the Parasaur will keep them at bay. Okay, so it sounds like it will scare things away, and even scare away raptors. Okay. I don't think it should work if a raptor pack's coming after you. I could understand 1 or 2 raptors, but a whole pack seems a bit far-fetched. While riding your Parasaur, the Parasaur can send out a kind of echolocation that gives the player a notice of where enemy players, tames, and wild dangers are around them, even when they are in line of sight. A combination of these abilities will make the Parasaur a very strong ally during those early days on the beach and ongoing. They are able to alert survivors when someone is trying to sneak into their base by acting like a living tripwire system. So that's going to be really handy. I mean, the Parasaur is absolutely useless. It's not fast. It's got abysmal weight. It's just generally not a very good creature, and most people just leave them. I mean, to be honest, the majority of the time, when I start a new playthrough, I ignore the Parasaur completely and just go for higher tames after that. They've not really been that useful, but bringing in this echolocation that notifies of enemy players, tames, and wild dangers, that's going to make it a lot more useful. Like I said, you can set it up as a alarm system, or if you're a newbie, raptors are the bane of your life. So having this around is definitely going to help you survive. To be honest, it's going to help get around a lot easier. Now there is a little preview clip here of it in action. It doesn't have any sound though, so just play this. Okay, doing that bad buffering thing. Oh, it does have sound. Okay, so that's that. On top of these new abilities, Parasaur will also have increased base carry weight, so that's going to help a lot, which will allow to carry even more of your belongings as you explore the island and try to find your way around the Ark, and the ability to attack while running, which previously was not able to do so. And here's there's some other images of what to expect. So that's a raptor pinning someone down, that looks quite good. We have the Spino in its bipedal form, chasing an Argy by the look of it. Okay, Okay, so now that we have shared the changes to the Parasaur that wraps everything up with TLC 2, the patch includes Sarco, Spino, Argent, Raptor, Trike and Parasaur that we just looked through, and is looking to be scheduled to go out early next week, with a console release planned for mid-April. We'll keep console players updated with more accurate release dates as we get closer to submitting patches. Going forward, Wildcard will be consolidating other patching process on the PC. We will be leaning heavily on regular Tuesday or Wednesday if needed deployments unless critical fixes require patches outside of the regular patch day. These will become collective weekly bug patches updates rather than separate updates for bug fix. In the past it resulted in multiple patches a week, and yeah, definitely bad for that. After TLC 2 is released, we'll be turning our attention more towards bug fixes and quality of life improvements in the weeks ahead. There are some issues that have been brought to light and attention by the team by an artistic movement created to highlight the issues that affect players negatively the most. In tandem with the development of TLC 2, these issues have been documented for further analysis, and after TLC 2 is released, we'll begin investigating and addressing their issues as one of our main focuses. So by the sounds of it, there isn't going to be a TLC 3, either for a very long time or ever, because it seems like they're going to work on bug fixes, which I kind of like that they're going to do that, because the game's broken, so broken. But yeah, hopefully they'll fix it, and hopefully we'll get a TL3 soon after that. So yeah, I hope this has helped, and yeah, I'll see you next time. If you liked the video, don't forget to drop me a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you. Bye.